in the league. Oh, what a catch by Jay Nathanielman. Touchdown, Hurricanes!
Shooter take a shot deep. Open target. Her third from left to right. Sets off. Oh,
Down!
watch where he's going to step. He's going to go for it. Fell from the sky into Aaron Ike's hand.
Good evening, CFSL. We are live in Morgantown, West Virginia from Mountaineer Field. The Baylor Bears travel to West Virginia in a Big 12 clash. My name is Kay Padgett. Joining me in the booth is Greg Cooksey. Cooksey, how are we doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you, Cade?
Oh, I'm doing great. We got a light breeze, mid-80s temperatures for Morgantown. This is a great atmosphere for some Week 8 CFSL action. Big playoff implications. Both Baylor and West Virginia have a chance at the playoffs, but Baylor needs a big win here. Cooksey, what should we see tonight from the Baylor Bears?
Well, BJ Shark had a great week last week. I would expect to see him, and I'd expect to see some big production out of DJ Yost as well. Last week, she really carried a huge load for her team, and I think they're going to need her to do the same tonight if they're going to win.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Shark and Yost, the two workhorses for this Baylor offense. Baylor comes out 2-by-2 set, pistol formation, handoff to Yost. She's running left, breaks a tackle, out to the 40-yard line, 8 yards, sets up 2nd and 2.
That's exactly what Baylor's going to need if they're going to pull this off and secure a playoff spot tonight.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit in pregame that Baylor has an outside chance, but they do still control their own destiny. Takes the snap, throws it over the middle, finds his man, Shark for the 14-yard reception. We talked about it. Baylor needs a win, and they need a win big. We know that they need to win by 17 points tonight. Talking about point differential because the Big 12 with West Virginia, Cincinnati, and Baylor is so tight. Carter hands off. Yost gets another 7, but a little bit of that, Cooksey. Do you think coming into Morgantown that Baylor can get it done?
Oh, absolutely. I saw them last week, and they played a great game last week, pulled off a terrific win, so I think that a win tonight is possible for sure.
Carter finds Miller on the left side for a 5-yard first down reception. Yeah, Baylor has the offensive weapons, and we mentioned it. Carter's got to stay turnover free. I mean, your quarterback always has to stay turnover free, but getting the ball to Shark and Yost early is exactly what they need to be doing. 3 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. Carter takes the snap. Hands off to Yost. She's running left. She's giving a stiff arm. Oh, that's Nick Young, excuse me. Nick Young, the backup halfback, for 12 yards and a first down.
Well, a player that I'd like to see step up this week tonight is Kavion Bibbins. Last week we saw Nick Morrow step up and make an impact, but see somebody else that wasn't as productive last week step up.
And Yost back on the field, gets 11 yards, sets up a 1st and goal. Yeah, there's a lot of offensive pieces for this Baylor for the Baylor Bears, and don't get me wrong, we're going to talk about West Virginia when they get on offense. We all know who Gunnar Rice is and what he can do. Carter drops back, takes a snap, fires left, out of bounds, maintaining turnover-free ball, sets up 2nd and goal. But Baylor's going to need some high-powered offense early tonight.
Yeah, I agree with that. And they've got a full complement of weapons, so they're going to have to utilize them, like you said.
Play action. Carter rolling right, looking, fires into the end zone, and it is intercepted on the 1-yard line. West Virginia, I believe, look at the number. Is that number 6? I believe that's Elwood Gray or Matthew Nelson. That's 6. That's Elwood Gray. Elwood Gray with the early turnover, but we are in big-time safety watch for the West Virginia Mountaineers offense.
We talked about what Baylor needed to do to win. What they do not need to do is what just happened with that interception.
Yeah, you're Baylor. You put together a great drive, and Elwood Gray just comes up with the big turnover in the red zone there. But now let's shift gears to West Virginia. Gunnar Rice is about 140 yards shy in the regular season of a 2,000-yard passing, 1,000-yard rushing season as he hands off to Keith Samuels for 5 yards. We all know what Gunnar Rice can do. He personally tore up my Aggie defense a couple weeks ago. What do you think West Virginia needs to get done tonight?
Well, I think that they need a big performance out of Kate Graziano. She is a huge part of this West Virginia offense, and I have a feeling that as she goes, so goes the Mountaineers.
Yeah, we know that Rice and Graziano are the two workhorses for this West Virginia Mountaineers. Don't get me wrong, there are some other studs on this offense, but like you said, as Graziano and Rice go, so does this offense. Rice under center, motions to tight end, hands off to Samuels. He's running right, lowers his shoulder, gets 4 yards, 2nd and 6 coming up.
Yep, we all know what getting 4 yards in the offense can do for you here in the CFSL, so this is a good start for West Virginia.
2-by-2 set, back flanking Rice to his left. Rice in the shotgun. Play action. Pressured, fires, and finds Graziano. 3-yard reception, sets up a 3rd and 3.
Well, there was a defensive lineman that had a clean look at Rice there and turned the wrong way. If he would have pursued him, there would have been a sack there.
And Murph AD for West Virginia as Rice finds Randy Parker for 6 yards, shouting out his seniors, Graziano and Joshua Campbell, on this offensive side of the ball. Great careers for the both of them. Hopefully they can carry West Virginia to a win tonight.
Well, I know that they would love to get their team into the playoffs and really make this senior year special for them.
Hands off to the right, Samuels for 2 yards. Well, we talk about playoffs, Cooksey, and we know that both of these teams have a shot. Right now, as it stands, West Virginia is 2nd in the Big 12 behind Texas. A win here for them would lock up that number 2 seed and would give them a great spot in the playoffs. Even if Baylor were to win this game by the 17 points and somehow we get that tie, I don't see how you leave West Virginia out.
No, especially with you just mentioned the season that they're having. It's been a great season for them.
Motion the running back in, handoff left. Spin move, broken tackle. And there is a dreaded laundry on the field. And it is clipping coming back. In a little Twitch update, a 3-yard touchdown run for Kevin Price as the Tar Heels go up 7-0 on Clemson with just over 6 minutes left in the first quarter.
And neither of these two teams need setbacks or things that are going to kill them. And West Virginia, they're going to have to make sure they don't negate big plays like they just did. That was not good.
Rice takes the snap, looking, fires over the middle, finds his man, Randy Parker again, but he is met just short of the line, sets up a 4th and 2. Yeah, you said it. Rice and this West Virginia offense had the first down, and a clipping penalty takes them back. And you see the drive results, 10 plays, but only 27 yards. I mean, you got out of the shadow of your own end zone, so there's a positive there. But if you're West Virginia, that's not what you want.
No, I mean, the other thing is you got to know where the first down marker is. The guy made the catch, but he didn't look to see where he was. He had a chance to turn around and get a first down in there, and he didn't do it.
Carter and the Bears back on offense, takes the snap, hands off to Yost. Yost, broken tackle, but will not get back to the line of scrimmage. A 4-yard loss sets up a 2nd and long. Jason Banks with the TFL, his first of the night.
Yeah, they give that defensive line of West Virginia a lot of credit there. They were there to make the play and set Baylor back.
Yeah, and if you're Baylor and you look at this offense, much like Rice and Graziano for West Virginia, you got to get the ball to Shark early, and you're going to lean on Yost heavy late as Wyndham Carter gets about half of what he needs back on the read option, sets up a 3rd and 8.
Well, bringing back up what you said, yeah, I mean, you get PJ Yost going, you can really close this game out if you get a lead.
3 receivers to the bottom, back in the pistol. Carter drops back, finds his man over the middle. Matt Wilson for 3 yards, but he does not get to the first down, sets up a 4th and 5 and a punting situation for the Bears.
Again, that's not a play call I really like. I like down a situation like that, I'd like to see something that's a little bit more downfield than I would vertical, horizontal.
Yeah, again, it's awareness as Graziano gets met hard on the punt return. It's an awareness. You know that you need 8 yards on 3rd down. I understand that a drag route for 3 yards is a successful play early in the drive, but not there.
No, I mean, it's not. Maybe even in a game like this, you need explosive plays, and that just wasn't an explosive play.
As West Virginia starts out with the triple option, Rice decides to keep it, doesn't pitch it. He gets 12 yards for a first down. And we're seeing West Virginia move the ball, but only when Rice is running it. Is that something that they can lean heavily on, or is Baylor going to tune into that and stop them?
No, I mean, I think eventually Baylor's going to cue in and stop on them, but if they can't stop it now, I dare them to, and I'd really attack that and dare them to try and stop it.
And we're talking right here as Keith Samuels gets met for a 2-yard loss. I mean, both of these teams, we know how high-powered their offenses can be, but it's about staying on schedule. Rice, 2 receivers to the top, 2 to the bottom, back flanking right. He takes the snap. Hands off to Samuels, up the middle, broken tackle, another broken tackle, 15 yards, first down, Mountaineers.
And if West Virginia is going to rely heavily on that triple option or any kind of an option, then they need to get good production out of their running back so that they can stay elusive. And so that's a good way to set that up.
Yeah, and again, we talked about Rice and we talked about Graziano, but you look at Keith Samuels as well, and Keith Samuels is having himself a nice season, averaging almost 4 yards a carry, almost 400 yards on the season. Again, as Gunnar Rice takes the read option, 18 yards. There are other weapons on this offense that if Baylor were to take out the read option from Gunnar Rice or to lock up Graziano, that this West Virginia team can still get it done.
Right, and it just goes. It depends on how intelligent your offensive coordinator is, though. Also, you've got to figure out ways to be able to use those players.
As Rice takes the snap, it was a design pass, but he didn't like what he saw, took off immediately, and gets another 8. Gunnar Rice up to 50 rushing yards already. He's coming for that 1K tonight.
And that's a good, intelligent move by Rice. As he was saying, nobody open, and there was definitely room to run, so he took advantage of that.
Yeah, we all know the Gunnar Rice, the generational talent quarterback from a season ago. We know how deadly he can be, especially those of us who are in the Big 12 with him, as he hands off to Keith Samuels, lowers the shoulder 6 yards, first and 10 coming up for the Mountaineers. But we know, again, Rice can win you a game. It doesn't matter who's on your offense. He will get it done by himself if he has to. 3 receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom. Rice takes the snap, fires, top of the screen. And Graziano with a catch, only 2 yards on the play, but sets up a 2nd and 8.
They just keep moving the ball forward in any way you can.
3 receivers to the bottom. Rice, keeper on the read option, gets a good block, gets another good block. Touchdown, Gunnar Rice, and you owe all of that to the receiver. I believe that was Graziano.
Yeah, good big job blocking and clearing a way for Rice. He had a guy trying to chase him down, but he was just not fast enough to catch up to him.
Yeah, I mean, that was a walk-in touchdown. That might be one of the easiest touchdowns Rice has scored all season, but I mean, you got to give credit to Kat Graziano right there. She flattened not 1, but 2 Baylor Bear defenders in a matter of seconds to clear a path for her quarterback.
We just saw a stat, and you had mentioned how important staying on schedule was. We just saw a stat, I think 150 yards already for West Virginia's offense. That shows a lot of stability there. Good clock control management as well.
Yeah, almost 120 yards, 17 plays. So they're averaging about 8 or 9 yards a play. I mean, that's perfect. 2 tight ends set, back in the pistol. Carter takes the snap, play action. He's rolling to his right. He's looking. He's buying timeshares. He's filing his taxes. He fires it downfield, finds a man wide open down the sideline, and Sam Sharkey for 40 yards. The Bears are on the move.
And I mean, this is we talked about. You got to hit explosive plays if you want to win a game like this, and that's exactly what Wyndham Carter is able to do. He had plenty of time, and he found an open receipt.
Yeah, Sam Sharkey got open, but you got to give credit to the Baylor Bear offensive line, giving Carter the time to throw the ball. He had a day and a half to throw that. 3 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top, back set in the pistol. Carter takes the snap, hands off to Yost, wide open up the middle, 11-yard run, first down, Baylor.
Always nice to be able to hit a safety net like DJ Yost, who the last couple of weeks now has performed at a really high level.
And Dale, for the West Virginia defense, already has 5 tackles. He's up looking for a career game, too. Carter fires left, broken up. Incomplete pass, 2nd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, it's Jason Banks getting in there and making a nice aggressive play to wrestle the ball away from that receiver.
2 tight ends set, back in the pistol. Motion the tight end to the top of the screen. Carter takes the snap, hands off to Yost. runs up the middle, broken tackle, 12 yards, first down, Baylor.
And I think Baylor is taking some notes here from West Virginia's last offensive drive. A good heavy dose of the run and just nice timely plays.
A little bit of an offset eye, motion to the back. Carter takes a snap, looking, fires left, has a man, and Jesse Fields, 6-yard reception. I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, that is a walk-on. Give a little bit of walk-on love. Sets up a 2nd and 4.
But we've seen definite impact, I think, of walk-ons this year. I think even more than I can ever remember.
As Carter takes the snap, hands off to Nick Young, and somehow he's not in, but it is a 1st and goal, Bears.
And that's really all they needed, just a fresh new set of downs. Young didn't get much production last week, so it would be nice to see him get more this week.
Carter takes the snap, takes the handoff, broken tackle, lowers his shoulder, and gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that will do it for our first quarter. West Virginia leads 7-0 at the end of 1. Stay tuned. You are watching the CFSL on PX1 Sports on YouTube. And we're back, 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line. Baylor coming out, 2 tight ends to the bottom of the screen, back in the pistol. Carter takes the snap, read option. He's making it longer than he needs to, but that is a walk-in touchdown. Baylor petting the extra point, ties the game on a Carter touchdown scramble.
Well, let's give some credit to West Virginia's defense here. I know that they just gave up a touchdown, but they made it extremely hard here for Baylor to get into the end zone. And, this defensive line for West Virginia has done a great job so far this evening.
Oh, yeah, that drive was 8 plays and 73 yards, but you think 40 of it came on 1 play. So West Virginia doing what they need to do, not keeping Baylor out of the end zone, but they're making Baylor work for it. And West Virginia wins this game. They're in the playoffs. Baylor needs to win and win big. So West Virginia is taking care of business right now. As Matthew Nelson sets up just outside of the 20.
They would do well to answer that score with a score of their own.
3 receivers to the bottom, back flanking Rice to the left. Rice takes the snap. It's a screen pass, dumps it off. He's got blockers. He's got a lot of room. And Keith Samuels takes it 23 yards up near midfield. Mountaineers on the move.
Yeah, Baylor just having a really hard time keeping up with the spot. West Virginia offense, they sent the house at the quarterback, and I think maybe they forgot about Keith Samuels and how good he's been so far this evening.
Yeah, everybody knows how I feel about screens. I don't like them. I don't think they should ever be called, but our associate producer, Austin Crow, good timing on that call. Absolutely. Rice, hands off to Samuels again, gets a little bit of a Tony 10, sets up a 2nd and inches.
Well, the one thing that I will say about screens, they're not my favorite play at all, but they do keep pressure off your quarterbacks, particularly if your offensive line isn't doing a great job blocking, so they have their place.
Rice takes the snap, fires, and it is an incompletion. Rice's first incompletion of the day, sets up a 3rd and inches. Yeah, Cooksey, a well-timed screen, much like a corner route or a comeback route, is almost impossible to stop. I just don't like it when your team's calling 4 screens in a row. Rice hands off to Samuels. Samuels breaks a tackle, 5 yards, gets the first down. Mountaineers.
The most important thing is you're keeping the ball moving and keeping the ball out of the hands of Baylor's offense and really putting pressure on their defense.
Motion to tight end. Rice takes the snap. Read option, decides to keep it. He's running to the 35, to the 30. Stiff arms, lowers his shoulder, breaks a tackle, 13 yards. Another first down, West Virginia. Yeah, if you're West Virginia, it sounds cliche and it's almost a given. You're going to win this game if you keep Baylor's offense off the field. We know how quickly and how many points Baylor can score. Rice finds his man over the middle, broken tackle. As Brian Jones, 16-yard reception, his first of the day, sets up a 1st and goal, West Virginia.
I'd like to see, this might be an area where you continue to run the ball. I know that you need to mix some passes in, but your power game, your run game's gotten a lot done for you. It would seem to me like that would almost be an instant touchdown if you just stick on the ground.
Yeah, Rice already has 75 rushing yards. I would assume it's either in his hands or the running back's hands, as it's a read option, a little bit of a triple option, actually. And Gunnar Rice is met in the backfield. Kai Kingston, his first TFL of the day. Baylor saw that one coming.
Yeah, they keyed in a little bit, but Kai Kingston, great vision to find his way through the defensive line.
3 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top, back flanking Rice to the left. Hands off to Samuels. He's got blockers, lowers his shoulder, 8 yards, sets up a 3rd and goal. West Virginia knocking on the door.
Yeah. Samuels continuing to be physical. He's powered his way through this defense all night.
2 tight ends to the top, two receivers to the bottom. Motion the tight end. Rice calling his audibles. Takes the snap. He's looking. He's got all day. He's looking. He's scrambling. He breaks the sack. He's met again, but then he doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Baylor's defense holds strong as Aiden Stevens, with his first TFL of the day, sets up a 4th and goal and a should-be field goal attempt.
Yeah, he was slowed up there in the back. One of those defensive linemen got a good hit on him to make that play.
We have a flag on the play, and it is a false start, so you're going to go ahead and back West Virginia up just a little bit more. Shouldn't, keyword shouldn't, announcer's jinx, affect the field goal. This should still be a near gimme for West Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a part where West Virginia can afford something like that, but the problem is mistakes are habit forming, and if there's too much of them, that can really cost you a football game, so they got to get more discipline in this.
And West Virginia does convert on the field goal as Baylor takes the ball in. Nick Young is met, gets 23 yards out to about the 23-24 yard line. Cooksey, if you're Baylor, right, you've seen some good things, you've seen some not so good things. What do you want to see from them right now?
Yeah, I mean, I want to see them be able to stop, or excuse me, I want to see them be able to continue to hit on their big plays.
Carter takes the snap. Hands off as Yost gets 8 yards on first down, sets up a 2nd and 2.
That makes it 2nd and 2.
2 receivers to the bottom, 2 tight ends set. Back in the pistol. Carter takes the snap. Hands off again. Yost breaks the tackle. Manages to get back to the line of scrimmage. It says a 1 yard gain, but it goes from 2nd and 2 to 3rd and 2. Baylor needs to convert here.
And the defensive line for West Virginia getting a stop and making a play when they knew that they had to.
3 receivers to the top. Carter, keeper on the read option. Running out, decides to cut up. 12 yards, first down, move the chains for Baylor.
I think there's some lack of physicality there on West Virginia's defense. They had a look at the quarterback and weren't able to convert on it.
4 receivers to the top. Handoff to Yost, running left. Lowers her shoulder, 7 yards, staying ahead of the chains. Baylor is on schedule.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to stay on schedule, I definitely think giving the ball to DJ Yost is the right thing. Again, she had carried a big road work last week and proved she can handle it, and she's doing it again this evening.
2 tight end set. Carter keeps on the read option. Broken tackle up to the 40, to the 30. Carter 22 yards, saying, Gunnar Rice, look what you can do. I can do it too. First down, Baylor.
Yeah, just a little too slippery, if you will, there.
Yeah, and if you're Baylor, I mean, it's been the same for both teams actually tonight, not just Baylor, that the running game is what's getting everything going. Not so much as deep passes or big plays, but just grinding out 6, 7, 8 yards here and there. As Nick Young spells Yost for a play, gets a yard, sets up 2nd and 9. But it's been the methodical moving of the chains. We've had some big plays, but nothing like a 75-yard touchdown yet.
And, I mean, it's kind of like watching the sympathy. For me, I love to watch these kinds of football games. I think that they're quite entertaining.
And Carter takes the snap, throws it into almost no man's land, right in between a few defenders and now almost at the feet of one of his receivers. Sets up a 3rd and 9. 2 receivers to the top, 2 to the bottom. Yost flanking Carter to his left. Hands off to Yost on a delayed draw. Yost gets about half of what she needs, but is going to set up a field goal for the Baylor Bears.
Yeah, West Virginia knew that they were going to come at with the run, and they eventually shut it down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the play call there on third down for Baylor as they do convert on the field goal. It's almost surrendering that we're not going to convert, especially with delayed draws. It gives the D-line a chance to get back there, gives the defense a chance to plug those holes before your running back even has a chance to touch the ball. But, I mean, it's a tie game with just over 4 left in the second quarter, so Baylor's still got an opportunity here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, plenty of time left. You get a stop here if you're Baylor and get the ball back. It could change this game.
3 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. Rice, read option, keeper. He's going. He's got blockers. He's got blockers. He's got lead blockers to the 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. One man to beat, and he is brought down just outside of the 10, 61 yards. Gunner Rice over 130 on the day. The Mountaineers are on the move.
And if there's anything that Baylor should know and have the mindset about it, is that at some point, Gunner Rice is going to run this football. For him to catch them off guard that bad, and for them not to be ready about that is a big, big flaw for Baylor.
Yeah, and if you're West Virginia, your workhorse has gotten you down here. Do not take it out of his hands as Rice fires into the end zone. Inch, double, triple coverage. No one comes down with it. 2nd and 10 coming up.
I think Gunner Rice just a little too excited right there.
Yeah, his adrenaline's probably still pumping from that 60-yard run. 3 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. Rice takes the snap, hands off to Samuel. Samuel's up the middle, got blockers. He is met at the 4-yard line, sets up a 3rd and 4. It's not goal to go yet, so West Virginia could still get a first down, though I don't see it on the screen. But they still can get a first down and set up a goal-to-go opportunity. 2 tight ends set. Rice takes the snap, hands off to what, as I believe, Randy Parker is a walk-on. For his first carry of the day, sets up a 4th and 3, and West Virginia, after that big momentum play, settling for 3.
Yeah, nice recovery on the part of Baylor to really hunker down and bend enough but not break by giving up a touchdown. And, yeah, you gave up a score, but you've got a chance still to give your offense a chance to get a lead here.
And I don't want to spoil anything for West Virginia, but I think if my math is right, and I was once a math major in college all those many years ago, as we show the stats of Baylor, Baylor's getting it done without getting to sharp, but I believe Rice is 5 yards shy of 1,000 rushing yards on the season.
That's a special quarterback right there.
As Nick Morrow on the little bubble screen, Carter finds him, but he's met right away. First catch, but for no yards, sets up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, that's a disappointment because he had a little bit of room before that defensive back bared in and stopped him. You can see he's a little frustrated there.
Yeah, and if you're Baylor after that big play, you hold them to 3. I feel like you need a touchdown on this drive. It's a big momentum play. You'll get some hype for your guys as Sharp finds 5 yards on 2nd and 10 to make it 3rd and 5, and you start feeling a little bit good about yourself. Wyndham Carter hasn't been bad, but he hasn't been good. You got an opportunity if you're Baylor here, but you got to convert here.
Yeah, I mean, you can't let your defense down by not picking them up and putting the ball in the end zone.
Carter fires it, has a man on a crossing route. Elijah Miller, 21 yards, I believe, his 2nd catch of the day, sets up 1st and 10, and Baylor is on the move.
Yeah, very loose coverage there by West Virginia. That was the last thing that they needed to do was give up a first down.
Yeah, and if you're Baylor, you make it a little more scary than it needs to with a 3rd down, and even on the crossing route, though it's complete, the coverage was good by the West Virginia defender. As 3 receivers to the bottom, Carter takes the snap. He's looking. He's firing deep downfield. And just out of reach, Sharp had what I believe was probably a toe out of bounds for it to be incompletion, but he had a man there.
Yeah, I think J.T. Miller, who was in the coverage there, made him a little bit nervous to catch that football because he was bearing down on him.
As Baylor hands off to DJ Yost to get some yardage back to set up a more manageable 3rd down. Is this 4-down territory for Baylor? I don't know.
Boy, I would hate to see them go for it and not convert and have them cost this game. With as little time as there is on the clock and the Unfortunately, we're going to have to worry
we
about
don't even talk about fourth down as Matt Wilson breaks a couple tackles for a 45-yard touchdown. Baylor takes the lead, and a little bit of a Twitch update. North Carolina goes up 20-0 just under 4 in the second with a 31-yard touchdown pass to Landon Adams. They're looking good over on Twitch.
And if you listen to me ever, you know how I feel about big-bodied receivers being able to make plays at the right time. And that was a great read by Wyndham Carter, finding a big receiver that he knew could find his way into the end zone.
I love nothing more, Cooksey, as Graziano gets about 20 on the return. Seeing a big guy, like I'm a defensive lineman by heart. That's my thing. Seeing a big man touchdown, not necessarily a defensive lineman, but a big tight end who's normally a blocker, finally gets some love in the passing game and just dominates on his way down there as Rice takes the snap, and he is brought down for a 7-yard sack, and West Virginia uses a timeout. They have their eyes set on points.
Yeah, Anaconda making a play right when it mattered the most because this momentum is starting to swing Baylor's way, and you can see that in their defense right here. It looks like it's refreshed them.
As Rice finds Brian Jones on a 6-yard drag, sets up a 3rd and 11. You can get a little bit of a double dip here if you're Baylor. You stop West Virginia here as Rice takes the snap, hands off to Samuels, and he is met almost immediately, sets up a 4th and 10. Baylor's going to have over a minute left and 2 timeouts and good field position.
And Smoke Vasquez staying home and sticking with that play. I mean, they're going to get great field position here, Cade. If you can put a score here, another touchdown up on the board, you really got to like your chances if you're Baylor.
As Nick Young gets into West Virginia territory, I mean, it's that time of season, Cooksey, where we start talking about who's got more quality wins, point differential, conference record versus overall record, as Carter takes the snap, fires deep downfield into coverage, and it is intercepted. Number 42 for the West Virginia Mountaineers is J.T. Miller with the interception, as Carter probably wants that one back.
Yeah, that was just great coverage there by J.T. Miller, being in lockstep with that wide receiver, and that's a killer for Wyndham Carter. And really that offense, that wasn't what you need. That takes the wind out of their sails, I think.
And you look at Gunnar Rice's passing stats, he's got 8 completions for 67 yards. If you look at that before the game and you said, well, you're only down by 4, we'll probably take that. And we're not quite on safety watch, but we're close to where it's going to mention it as Rice is brought down. You call that announcer jinx on me. 6-yard sack, and we are in full-blown safety watch now. That's 3rd and long coming up. As Samuels gets it, and then you see West Virginia's got almost 200 rushing yards in the first half. But Baylor, they're going to have good field position again. No timeouts, but you're close enough to where timeouts won't matter.
You are, and I mean, you're going to get well past the 50-yard line, but I mean, Baylor's defense does a great job putting Wyndham Carter on their back and telling them they've got him and picking him up after that interception he threw.
Yeah, if you're Carter, you got to feel pretty good about your defense right now. As Carter taking another deep shot, has a man on a crosser. Touchdown, Bears, shark into the end zone, and Baylor extends the lead just before half.
I had said that interception was a killer, but clearly not, because Carter going right back to the air, finding a wide receiver, and Baylor really firing. Now this is the best thing that could have happened to them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're West Virginia, you kind of have to question what is going on. How do you let what is arguably the best receiving threat for this Baylor Bears get that wide open? I understand, someone who plays Madden and plays NCAA a lot, that crossing routes are a pain in the butt to cover, but how do you let that happen?
Well, I mean, you can't, and what I would do here is I would just really run this clock out and try to reorganize, especially after you move the ball backwards. The last time you had the ball, there's not a lot of time on the clock. Just kind of get back out and try to get this sorted out.
You know, it wouldn't shock me in the slightest as we see Samuels in the pistol behind Rice. If we well, they're going to go for it as Rice steps up and scrambles, gets a first down, diving towards midfield, 18-yard rush, timeout, West Virginia. I was going to say it wouldn't surprise me if they went to a little read option, see if they could get something popping, but they're going. That is over 1,000 rushing yards for Rice. Clearly, he needed 5. He got almost 20. As Samuels drops the pass, probably good because clock stops. But if you're West Virginia, you're at a point now. You still got 28 seconds, still got a timeout. That you need points.
Oh, absolutely. In whatever form you can get them in.
Yeah, I mean, as Rice steps up again, broken tackle. Up to the 40, 15 yards, going to see a little bit of a hurry-up offense. You need points no matter what, no matter how they come, whoever gets it. Rice over 150 rushing yards, 2 receivers to the top, 2 to the bottom. Keith Samuels flags to the left. Rice takes the snap, steps up and scrambles again, broken tackle only for 2 yards. They're not using their timeout. They're just outside of field goal range as the clock is ticking down. 7 seconds. Rice takes the snap. He's looking. He's scrambling. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, and they will use their final timeout as Rice is sacked. Sets up a 3rd and 9. I'm talking a million miles an hour. As 3 receivers to the top, they're going to take a Hail Mary opportunity. Rice looking, he's got all day, throws it as far as he can, has a man as Braylon Jackson gets it for 31, but that is nothing more than a stat patter. We are at halftime in Morgantown. The Baylor Bears lead 24-13. You're watching the CFSL PX1 Sports on YouTube. Cooksey, what did we just see?
Well, I think we saw a couple of really well-balanced offenses setting some momentum for both of their teams, but to me, the big factor here in what's really got this game turned around is Baylor's defense. They came up with a couple of big stops right before halftime and were able to give their quarterback a chance to get their team on the board. And, I mean, this is the type of game, that way that a team that wants to be in the playoffs has to play.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Baylor, you're on the outside looking in right now, but you do control your own destiny. You win here, it ties you with conference records with West Virginia, and you will have the head-to-head, but they do have the overall record. And then your eyes turn to later against Cincinnati. As we look at the stats, the only thing that West Virginia is winning in right now is the turnover differential and time of possession. I mean, yes, they have rushing yards, but total yards is in favor of the Bears. Baylor has looked good. They just need to hold on to the ball.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of really untimely interceptions thrown, and you can't really have those things come back to haunt you. But again, Baylor's defense has really bailed them out this evening, and West Virginia had to have addressed this. They've got to figure this out and do it soon.
Yeah, West Virginia is probably going to see a whole lot of Gunnar Rice in this this drive. As a little bit of a Twitch update, a 34-yard touchdown pass to Landon Adams, second of the day, as North Carolina goes up 27-0 just before halftime, 46 seconds left. Rice dumps it off to Samuels for a 4-yard reception. I mean, you get 4 yards every play, you will never be stopped. You'll never punt the ball. Sets up 2nd and 6.
Yeah, I mean, they need better management because they mismanaged that last drive big time. They should have gotten points, and they just ran a confusing plethora of plays, and they made things harder than themselves by not being able to score for it.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, Cooksey, the as you say it, the confusing plethora of plays as West Virginia comes out to the full house. Rice pump fakes, takes the snap. He's looking, he's firing it deep downfield. Has a man wide open, and they are not going to catch him. That is Cat Graziano, her first touchdown of the night. Rice's first passing touchdown, and West Virginia closes the gap.
I mean, Kate Graziano, one of the things that I really love about her as a player is her knack for just putting her team on her back and bailing them out when she needs to be able to do it, and she does it again right here.
Yeah, exactly. West Virginia is going to ride their studs heavy tonight with Graziano and Rice, but we were talking about it, that the play sequence for West Virginia just before half, they were pass plays, and as soon as Gunnar Rice on his drop back, on his 5 or 7 step drop back, as soon as his back foot hit the ground, he was scrambling. and he wasn't looking for passes. Do you think that kind of hurt West Virginia? I mean, I know he's dominating tonight, got over 1,000 rushing yards, over 150 rushing yards on the game, but do you think that hurt them in terms of the clock management?
Oh, I do, because again, it was just a bunch of disorganization. And again, that's one of those things that can become a little contagious if you don't stop it.
Is Carter on the read option. He's showing gunner rights. He can do it too. 17 yards, up to almost 60 on the day for Carter. First down, Baylor.
And you get positive yardage out of that. Instead of taking a sack or throwing the ball away, you keep making the defense chase you down and turning out big plays.
Yeah, and if you're Carter, I wouldn't say he's... Actually, I would. He's not necessarily a scrambler. No, I mean, he had almost 600 rushing yards last season as Carter again on the read option. Broken tackle, another broken tackle, gets a block, a third broken tackle, nearly 40 up into the 20. Carter's almost at 100. Bears are in the red zone.
And I mean, just some nice blocking there that enabled him to get a real burst of speed and turn out a big rushing game.
And like I was saying before Carter made me eat my own lunch, he had almost 600 rushing yards last season. He's not even, prior to today, he wasn't even at 100 rushing yards. So it's not really something that you think Carter is going to do a whole lot of, as DJ Yost carries it for 3 yards, sets up a 2nd and 7. But it's just another facet of the game that Baylor can pull out of their pocket if need be.
I mean, just seeing the opportunity to make a play and doing what you can with it.
Carter, play action, rolls right, decides to keep. First down, slides, makes a business decision, sets up a 1st and goal from the 5-yard line.
And that's just a smart decision right there, because he had a guy right there ready to tackle him out with Gray, and rather than that, he goes ahead and just concedes and slides. So a great play by Wyndham.
As Carter hands off on the jet sweep, that is B.J. Shark for a negative 1-yard rush. Yeah, if you're Carter, turnovers have plagued this Baylor offense. You'd think that without those turnovers, they're probably up by at least 2 scores right now, if not that 17 points where they need to be. He's making the business decision to play another down and not lower his shoulder and risk a fumble. Carter, play action. He's looking, fires it to the right, has a man, and met almost immediately Sam Sharkey on the reception. And it is Matthew Nelson on the tackle. Good tackle by the corner.
Yeah, just a great job knowing where the receiver was going and stepping up to make a play.
Heavy set out. Carter takes the snap, read option, triple option on the motion, and he is met in the backfield. Not down, now he's down. 4th and goal coming up for Baylor. Good hold by the Mountaineers defense.
Yeah, I mean, West Virginia starting to blitz on the run game here, so Wyndham Carter is going to have to be a little bit more willing to throw the football, but they're going to have to be smart reads and smart throws.
Yeah, and we talk about playoff scenarios as we're down to about a quarter and a half left. I mean, it's week 8. Playoffs start next week. Half the teams in this league won't be playing after this week, my team included. West Virginia, even though they are trailing right now, if this result holds, and it's still a 7-point deficit as we see B.J. Shark's production in the first half versus the second half, if this current deficit holds, a 7-point deficit, West Virginia clinches a playoff spot. It doesn't matter what Baylor does.
But you'd still like to get a win. You're at home. You get a chance to really set some momentum up going into next week if you get a win here. So I think that the preferred result would be a win, but I would agree that you're happy to get there either way.
Oh, exactly. I mean, you look at West Virginia and you look at the preseason polls that all of the ADs made. We talked about who was going to win, who thought about this, who thought about that. As Keith Samuels gets 7 yards, sets up a first down. I don't think West Virginia, outside of those in Morgantown, was really pegged to finish top 3 in the conference, let alone tied with Texas in overall record, and only trails Texas because of their conference loss to Texas. I don't think anybody saw that. And if you're West Virginia, you got to feel good about this season.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, over the last few seasons, they've been a tough team, and they've been so close, but just haven't been able to get over the hump. So this is a big victory regardless if they get in.
Rice takes a snap, fires over the middle, finds a man in coverage. Hunter Dowell for 9 yards. His first catch of the day, first down, Mountaineers.
Again, it's just that staying on schedule and being able to manage the offense well.
As Rice motions Samuel in read option, RPO, finds his man over the middle, finds Kate Graziano for 11 yards. As a little bit of a Twitch update. Associate producer Austin Crow, I apologize, I'm going to butcher this name. 14-yard touchdown pass to Broderick Engie. First one,
Enge, perhaps.
Enge, 34-0 North Carolina leads with 6:15 left in the third. As Brian Jones gets 6 yards. I'm shocked I got that right on the first time. North Carolina running away with that one on Twitch. They're looking to next week for the playoffs as well. Rice takes the snap, read option, broken tackle, lowers his shoulder, stiff arm, another 7 yards, first down. Mountaineers going right back to their bread and butter.
Yeah, great job by Rice being willing to absorb a hit right there and still having the wherewithal to keep that play going.
2 receivers from the top, 2 to the bottom, back flanking Rice to the right. Rice, immediate bubble screen, has a blocker, lowers his shoulder as Kate Graziano gets a Tony 10. She's having a nice night, sets up a 2nd and inches.
Yeah, she's showing that she's tough, and again, she's committed to stepping up and getting this offense on the board here.
I formation for the Mountaineers, tight end to the bottom of the screen. Rice, read option. Met in the backfield. Good read by the Baylor defense. Kai Kingston, his 2nd TFL tonight, sets up a 3rd and 3.
Yeah, I mean, give all the credit to Kai Kingston. He was running on a high boulder, and he absolutely blew that play up by West Virginia.
3 receivers to the bottom, tight end to the top. Back flanking Rice to his right. Rice, immediate on the bubble screen, finds his man. As Jay Pittman for 8 yards, down near the 10-yard line, 1st and 10. His first catch of the day.
And I like this drive. It's a nice long drive, and unless you really mess this up, you're going to get a score out of this. So, I mean, West Virginia taking care of business right here on this drive.
Rice, keeper on the read option, stiff arms, but is brought down. 3-yard gain on the play, sets up a 2nd and 7. And that was, I believe, Tyler Dominguez on the tackle. Good tackle by Dominguez.
Yeah, just committing to making a stop there.
Rice finds a man to the right, lowers his shoulder, and Braylon Jackson got 7. Needed 7.5 for a touchdown, but sets up a 1st and goal. You're asking for a tough task for the Baylor defense to hold them out right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost a formality. West Virginia's going to end up with some points here.
And just as we say that, Keith Samuels lowers his shoulder, throws the man over, touchdown West Virginia. Pending the extra point, we are tied.
And Keith Samuels has had a big night this evening, and he gets a big touchdown in on it. I think he's a little tired there as you saw him go to his knees, but again, another big-time playmaker for West Virginia, stepping up and making plays.
I mean, I'm no extreme athlete or anything, but if I'm Keith Samuels and I'm throwing someone off of my shoulder, a full-grown Division I athlete, that's going to make me pretty tired. But a very successful drive for West Virginia ties it up again, and they relied very heavy on the run game. What do we need to see from Baylor in this last 10, 12 minutes of game time as Nick Young gets brought down just outside of, or just past the 25? We talked about it pregame. Baylor needs a 17-point win to give themselves a realistic chance to they would tie West Virginia in conference, and they'd be awaiting Cincinnati tonight. So think about it like Baylor's almost down 17. What do they have to do?
Well, we're seeing these big plays that they're hitting on. I think that they need to go back to that because they've really caught West Virginia off guard, especially using this running game. So if they can go back to the air and hit on the big plays in the air, then I think that they're going to be able to pull this off.
Yeah, and as we see Graziano with her big touchdown almost giving the momentum back to West Virginia. Yeah, if you're Baylor, you need something and you need it fast because your playoff lives are hanging in the balance. 2 tight ends set, back in the pistol. Carter calling his audibles, takes a snap, play action, rolling to his left, fires off his back foot, incomplete, into the dirt, 2nd and 10.
And not a good throw by Carter. You should never go throwing off your back foot. He kind of got away with it right there.
And every game, somehow, we seem to see a quarterback fade off his back foot. 2 receivers to the top, 2 to the bottom. Carter, play action, rolling out to his right, takes a shot downfield, has a man, Shark for 12 yards on the comeback route, 1st down, Bears.
That's where his number one option is, and finds him and gives him a chance to make a play.
Yeah, and if you're Carter, you think that it needs to go to Shark here, or maybe you can get Yost in a screen. Maybe she can break something big. 3 receivers to the bottom. Carter takes the snap, fires it to the bottom of the screen, has a man, broken tackle, another broken tackle. Elijah Miller for 12 yards. He's fighting. 1st down, Bears.
Matthew Nelson Jr. just a little disappointed about not being able to stick with that play there.
2 tight ends set. Carter calling his audibles, hands off to Yost, running right, cuts it back up, lowers the shoulder, and that is 8 yards, sets up a 2nd and 2. Bears staying ahead of the chains.
Yes, but Kevin Walsh does a great job making sure that she's not able to get to that 1st down marker.
3 receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom. Carter takes the snap, fires it to the top of the screen, has a man on an out route. Elijah Miller again moves the chains, sets up a 1st and 10.
Yeah, I mean, the quarterback who is out there stretching his arms wide open, that's on him because he didn't cover that receiver well enough.
As Carter trying to get West Virginia to jump on the snap count, but gets his own men to jump. False start, backs him up, sets up a 1st and 15. Not ideal for Baylor.
No, you got to hope that that doesn't mess with the offense's concentration. That could throw them off a little bit.
2 tight ends set, motion the tight end from top to bottom. Carter, play action. Looking, has all day, finds someone down near the bottom of the screen. Sam Sharkey for 8 yards, gets about half of what they needed, a little more than half. Sam Sharkey up to 51 yards on the night.
Yeah, I mean, just a nice find by Carter. A nice safe throw that still got him some yards.
Carter takes the snap. He's looking, fires over the middle, has a man, drop ball, sets up a 3rd and 7. Carter probably wishes his guy caught it.
Yes, I think so, because it's just the disruption of rhythm, and Brent Dale making a great play.
2-by-2 set. Carter takes a snap, finds Yost on the screen, has a blocker, broken tackle, but doesn't get what she needs, loses a yard on a play, sets up 4th and 8.
And I mean, this is one of those times where a screen is not beneficial, but let's give some credit to Elwood Gray by being able to trip her up and give the defense a chance to make a stop.
And Baylor knows what's at stake here, so they're going to go for it. Trips bunch to the top of the screen. Carter takes the snap, looking, has all day, fires it down, has a man as Kayvon Bivens, 20 yards, 1st catch of the day, move the chains on 4th.
But I said earlier, he was the guy that they need to step up and make a big play, and he did it right there.
It is being reviewed, Murph. I did see it on the replay. It looks like he's out. It's a great corner route. Does he get it down?
No.
Clearly he's out. Let's see what the game says, but we know what's happening.
Review the play. The ruling on the field is reversed.
And it is reversed. Incomplete pass. Turnover on downs. Excuse me, a little bit of a Twitch update. An 11-yard touchdown run for Tyler Johnson as Clemson finally gets on the board. 34-7, just under 2 minutes left in the 3rd. Rice finds Brian Jones for 6 yards. You can't have that if you're Baylor.
No, you know, hindsight, I think you agree, Kate, is always 50-50, where you would have wished Baylor would have punted it and lengthened the field there, but you had a chance to go back up. You had pretty good field position. I don't blame them for wanting to take a shot at a conversion on 4th down.
No, I don't blame him either. I would have gone for it too, as Rice decided to take prom photos with his offensive lineman there and got all tangled up. Takes a snap, he's looking, fires it on the screen pass. Keith Samuels has blockers, gets what he needs, 8 yards, 1st down. Yeah, I go for it if I'm Baylor. I know it's at stake. It's in the back of my mind, but you'd like a little bit more of a high percentage catch. Rice takes the snap, read option, and he is met in the backfield. 2-yard loss. Baylor is all over it. We got an exciting one on YouTube. Tie again, 27-27. End of the third quarter. You are watching the CFSL on PX1 Sports on YouTube. Don't go anywhere. Get those boards in chat. As the start of the fourth quarter is coming up, West Virginia approaching midfield, 2-by-2 set. Rice in the backfield, takes the snap, read option, up the middle, has a blocker, has another blocker to the 30, 25-20, 15-10, one man, house call, 52 yards, touchdown, Mountaineers.
Well, I mean, Baylor hurt by going for it on that fourth down, and I do understand some of the logic, because the logic is that even if you don't convert, your defense has been coming through you all night, but you get hurt there. Again, I don't know what was going on, not accounting for Rice's ability to run the football, but you have to be of the mindset that he's going to run it and he could take it to the house, and unfortunately, Baylor gets beat bad.
Yeah, if you're Baylor, you got to be sitting on that Rice read option. He's over 1,000 on the season. He's over 200 tonight. 80 Murph, that's what I yell when I play golf. As we see West Virginia with over 500 yards, Baylor with over 400 yards. This has been a great game. Baylor has done a fantastic job coming in here and competing with a top 12 team in the CFSL in West Virginia, but they needed a lot to go their way tonight, and just the turnover battles and not stopping Rice on the read options as Yost gets 7 yards. It's going to hurt him.
Yeah, I mean, now you're putting a lot of pressure here on your offense to get this game pulled back even.
Carter takes the snap, fires it, has a man, and it is broken up. Number 23, I believe. That was Al Pine, one of the best names in the league, if I do say so myself. On the deflection, sets up a 3rd and 3. Yo's 5-yard first down. Sorry, I love calling games and seeing some of the names that y'all come up with. Like, they are just Anaconda, Alpine. They're great. I love it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my first player's name was my name too, but just the funny names, those are fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite names was, I think Michigan had a kicker by the name of Rooster Clutterbuck, which put me in stitches every time he'd come out and kick a field goal.
Our kicker, when I was on Michigan last year with you, Cooksey, Jester blew it. It was great every time he kicked it. Carter, hands off to the right. Broken tackle, stiff arm. Nick Young gets 13 yards. Don't want to take away from what Baylor's trying to get going on offense. All right, Cooksey, play the what-if game. We know if Baylor doesn't win by 17, they're outside of the top 3, okay? They're outside of the top 3. Do you think that with a good showing here, let's say they win as DJ Yost gets a broken tackle, she's got 24, sets up the Baylor offense good. If Baylor wins this by 3 or a touchdown, or let's say they lose by 3, does this go well for the league as far as a potential vote-in team?
Well, I mean, they'd certainly have my vote, because they came up with a big win last week that gave them in the position that they are tonight, and I think they're quite a good team. I enjoy seeing them in the playoffs, so yeah, I would say so.
Nick Young, 2 yards on the first down, sets up the 2nd and 8. Yeah, I mean, if you're Baylor, you're sitting at 3 and 4 right now. Let's say you lose, you go to 3 and 5. There's a bunch of 3 and 5 teams who are on that bubble. A little bit of an offset eye. Carter takes the snap, play action. He's looking, fires it over the middle, has a man, finds Shark inside the 10-yard line, sets up 1st and goal. I mean, Baylor's resume of the 3 and 5 teams is about as good as anybody else's, and we want to see exciting games, right? Baylor has been in some really, really exciting games this season. I mean, they beat Colorado by 8. They lost to LSU, who's a top 2 team, by 6 points. They obliterated my Aggies, and then they lost to Michigan week 1 by 3 points. Carter breaks the tackle, pitches it late, finds Yost, 4-yard touchdown, and Baylor has tied it back up.
And they had him sacked, and he wiggled his way out of it. A great job by Wyndham Carter.
Yeah, I don't want to be taking too much of the talking time. I know I'm a little bit long-winded, but yeah, I mean, you got to look at the quality of wins, right? They beat Colorado, who everybody was really high on this season. Baylor beat the Aggies. Not as many people were as high on us because we're a new team, and they beat Syracuse. But you also have to look at the losses. A loss to Michigan by 3 and a loss to LSU by 6. As we see the last 5 drives for West Virginia, they finally got it going. I feel like Baylor would be one of those teams that even with a loss here, they would still be one of the favorites to be a voting team. Rice hands off to Samuels left. Samuels breaks the tackle, gets 8 yards, sets up a 2nd and 2. And if you're West Virginia, you don't want to lose this game. I mean, yes, you'd still be in the playoffs because I still think they're going to win. Even if they lose, it'll be by less than 17. But it's almost like a sour taste in your mouth as Rice finds his receiver on the bubble screen, broken tackle up to the 50, 45-40. As Hunter Dowell for 24, almost 25 yards. 2nd catch of the night, sets up a 1st and 10.
Well, you never want to lose at home, and you never want to lose the last game, especially not at home. But I mean, if you're West Virginia, it's business as usual because you got where you wanted to be. But going back to the point we were making about Baylor, I mean, yeah, look at the quality of teams and the quality of their schedule. And yes, their record shows a losing team, but if you look at the teams that they've lost to and the way they lost, that's a little bit untelling of what the type of a team they truly are, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. As Rice finds Brian Jones for 6 yards. I mean, I really don't want to get into the semantics of quality losses versus blowout losses versus quality wins versus teams that you should beat. But it's hard to look at Baylor as Rice keeps on the read option, gets a lead blocker, broken tackle, stiff arms, up inside the 20 to the red zone, 16 yards. He is up to 230 rushing yards on the night. I mean, Michigan and LSU are both in the top 5, and Baylor lost to LSU by 6 and Michigan by 3. Okay, that has to hold some weight.
Oh, I would agree with that.
3 receivers to the top. Rice takes the snap, play action, fires over the middle, finds his man on the slant route. Baxter Gibson for 9 yards. His first catch of the night, sets up a 2nd and 1.
Another one of those big wide receivers making a good play there.
2 receivers to the top, 2 to the bottom. Samuels flanks Rice to his right. Rice takes the snap. He's looking. Fires it to Samuels out of the backfield. Samuels cuts upfield, lowers his shoulder, 4 yards, 1st and goal, Mountaineers. Yeah, and I mean, again, the what-if game can be played time and time again during each of these games, and up until that final buzzer sounds, we really won't know. But if you're West Virginia and you win this game, you come in only 1 game behind Texas because that's who you lost to in the conference, as Rice finds Dowell for no yards. I feel like that would get them a lot of love in the playoffs, especially in the rankings, and it would set them up really nicely for a home playoff game.
I mean, when you lose to the top team in your conference, that shows, and that's your only loss, that shows that, I mean, you're still one of the best, and you had a heck of a season. You deserve to be there.
Exactly. As a Twitch update, 72-yard touchdown pass to Matthias Irvin for Clemson, 37-14 North Carolina lead with just over 6 minutes left. Rice comes out in the heavy formation, fires, finds his man, Dwayne Myers, 4-yard touchdown as West Virginia takes the lead back.
And I mean, if you're West Virginia, now's where you're not needing a letdown from your defense. You've got to come out here and you've got to get a stop.
And Gunnar Rice is such a good quarterback, and everything that he's done for West Virginia tonight. We know what Graziano does, and as A.D. Murph calls it out, that is a little bit of walk-on love, and Murph is also calling out Texas at Ryan Moreland. He wants you again. I would love to see that matchup. We'll see if it happens in the first round. Not sure if it will, but put them on the same side of the bracket. Let's see Gunnar Rice get another shot at it, as Baylor takes it out to the 20, but there is laundry on the field. It is the dreaded clipping call. Baylor will be backed up to start their drive near their own 10-yard line. Cooksey, 4 minutes left for Baylor. They're not going to win by 17. They're not going to get a top 3 seed, okay? what do you want to see these last 4 minutes?
I want to see mistake-free football, and I would say that they did not get off to the right start here.
Carter takes the snap, fires to the top of the screen, finds Elijah Miller for 3 yards. They're still well within range to win this game. I mean, it's only a touchdown game. Still 4 minutes left. Baylor can put together a good drive here, tie it, maybe send it into overtime, maybe force West Virginia punt on their next drive. 2 receivers to the top, 2 to the bottom. Carter takes the snap, play action, fires it downfield, has a man, and it is dropped by JT Miller. I don't know if it's a deflection or if it's a drop interception, but it's a good play by the Mountain East DB.
Yeah, I mean, Miller has had Wyndham Carter's name on more than one occasion here this evening.
Carter fires downfield, has a man, BJ Shark, Nick Morrow down the sideline, 52 yards. His second catch gets him to 52 on the night. Baylor is moving.
Yeah, I mean, just completely not covered and given an opportunity to make that play. You've got to not do that if you're West Virginia's defense.
Yeah, if you're West Virginia and you're JT Miller there, you got caught watching the quarterback and your guy just ran past you. Trips bunched to the bottom of the screen. Carter in the shotgun, takes the snap. He's looking, fires it immediately, finds his man over the middle. Not down yet, still up, not down, as Matt Wilson for 13 yards. A little bit of a funky animation there, but Matt Wilson up to 60 on the night, moving the chains.
Yeah, he's been a big part of the offense and a great thing for a great player for Wyndham Carter to find when he needed somebody to make a play.
2x2 set. Carter taking a shot to the end zone. Had a man. Nick Morrow had to stop. Little bit of an underthrow by Carter, but sets up a 1st and goal. Baylor.
Yeah, I mean, he does a great job blowing past JT Miller, who has been making great plays all night, but he gets beat right there.
And I'll save my comment for after what happens here because I don't want to be accused of announcer jinx. As Yost takes the snap, touchdown Baylor, works out anyway. I'll go ahead and say it. There was a lot of end zone space open in that back of the end zone for Carter had he let it for Morrow. Luckily, it doesn't bite them in the butt as DJ Yost punches it in for the touchdown to tie it pending the extra point with just over 3 minutes to go. A little bit of a Twitch update, a 1-yard touchdown run for Kevin Price as North Carolina extends their lead to 30, 44-14 with just over 4:08 left to go in the game. Yeah, I think it's safe to say, Cooksey, you and me got the more exciting game so far.
I would say so too. But I'll tell you what, right here, I mean, if you're West Virginia, you've got a chance to close this game out with any kind of a score here. But you've got to be smart and you've got to make the best decisions. If you run plays the way that you ran them right before halftime, then you just make things all that more difficult for yourself. So you've got to be disciplined and you've got to be organized right here if you want to put this game away and not go to overtime.
Yeah, as Rice takes the snap, running up the gut, he's going to prove the point of what I was going to say. If you're West Virginia, this ball is in Gunnar Rice's hands or Keith Samuel's hands. You don't throw it, you are running it. Burn the clock, bleed the clock, get out of here with a win. Samuels motions back to the backfield. Rice, read option, takes the snaps, got a blocker, broken tackle, lowers his shoulder, gets another 12 into Baylor territory, moving the chains.
And this is where you try to get it through, the message through to both Rice and Samuels. Don't drop that football and don't throw it to the wrong team.
Yeah, there needs to be 2 hands on that football at all times. Rice pump fakes, fires it downfield into coverage, and Carson Cutbirth with the deflection. Dangerous by Rice.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. That was not a play that I would have liked to have seen.
No, you're just outside of field goal range, probably another 10 or 15, and it's there. Rice with the play action, steps up, he's looking, fires it downfield, has a man, and it is caught by Joshua Campbell, had to come back to it. Again, I don't disagree with the play call. Campbell's first catch of the night, that's a little bit surprising, but man, the clock is your friend right now. You need to bleed it out. Rice, hands off. Still not down. I believe that is a little bit of a Randy Parker hashtag walk-on love Yeah, I mean, you're going to force Baylor to start using their timeouts here in just a second. You got about another 5 yards and you're in field goal range. Run the ball. Enough with the trick plays. Run the dang ball.
I mean, you've already proven yourself. You just need to start. Well, look at this, though.
Okay, I'm pretty sure West Virginia has our broadcast booth in their ears because we're calling for them to run it, and Gunnar Rice says, no, thank you. I'm going to find my man on the post route. Wide open for a 1st and goal. A little bit of a twitch update. 18-yard touchdown pass to Max Mills for Clemson. 44-21 with 2:48 left. Clemson not going down without a fight. But now if you're West Virginia, run the ball.
Yeah, make Baylor use these timeouts because you don't want to give them this much time with the football.
And Jared Rogers, the walk-on on the carry, but Baylor's not using a timeout. 2 tight end set, 2 receivers to the top. Handoff to Samuels, running right, got a blocker, lead blocker, lowers his shoulder, down to, I want to say, the 1 or the 2 yard line. I don't know if we're going to get a little bit of an AI glitch here with the play clock. We see some bad clock management. Don't get me wrong. West Virginia in the I formation. Rice under center. Calling his audibles. Letting the clock run. Oh, no, we're going to see it. Rice needs to snap it. They need to call a timeout. They need to snap it. Timeout. Snap it. Snap it. Snap it. What are we doing? Snaps the ball. It doesn't matter. They said, screw your clock management. We're going to take it down to 1 second. Giving me a heart attack. Keith Samuels punches it in. Touchdown, West Virginia.
Well, I mean, I would prefer that, especially since you don't leave much time on the clock. But hey, look, you're going to get out of here with a win, so I guess it doesn't have to look pretty, does it?
It does not need to look pretty. I mean, if Baylor had stopped him there, we'll talk about overtime, but it's a moot point now. Baylor either needs a touchback and a 1-play touchdown. They're going to return it, so Shark needs to return it here. He's running right, running left, and he is brought down just shy of the 30. The Mountaineers will finish second in the Big 12 with a victory over Baylor. Cooksey, wrap it up for us. What do we see tonight? What do we see?
Well, I mean, congratulations to West Virginia on taking care of business. But what I would ask, I saw a team in Baylor tonight that we said they deserve to be in the playoffs. Yes, they have a losing record, but when people go to vote, take that quality of schedule into some consideration and don't punish them for losing games that they probably should have lost, but still making them competitive. I'd hate to see that happen.
Yeah, those quality losses are going to be helpful for them. To wrap it up, thank you to our executive producer, Mike Peters, and my broadcast partner, Greg Cooksey, and our associate producer, Austin Crow. You have seen West Virginia defeat the Baylor Bears on YouTube. Please join us back in about 30 minutes as we watch Cincinnati take on Colorado. You are watching the CFSL on PX1 Sports on YouTube. We'll see you in a bit.